Hey guys, I have the great job of keeping you from your lunch, so I'll try to be as quick as I possibly can. I don't know how this works. I'm Suzi Gerber. I'm the executive director of AMPS, which is the trade association representing cultivated meat, seafood, poultry, and as of late, other cell cultivated foods too. More info on that to come. I also wear other hats, so some of you may know me from my work here at Tufts. Like the provost said, I too am a scientist, and I like to remind people of that as I talk. So what is AMPS? AMPS is a trade association. We are a member-driven organization that is built by industry for industry and represents industry interests, but we are a broader membership base. You can see on here, some of us are consultant thought leaders like Vireo, Cully Carlson Foundation, who's here today also, is one of those foundations that Heather was just talking about. We do represent all of the global approved companies for human foods currently in the world stage. We also have room for academic partners. So if any of you represent academic partners not currently members, come talk to me after this. I had a slide, it's not showing up. Well, I get this question a lot. Here it is. I get this question a lot about how does AMPS differ from organizations like GFI that also sort of operates on the global stage and has relationships with some of these other players. And I just want to contextualize for people who are less familiar with what the work of a trade association is. We exist in a broader ecosystem. We have allies and partners and certainly members that fit in all of these categories, but we are not a think tank like GFI that works on scientific endeavors, but we do collaborate with them to extend some of these for industry purposes. On the right-hand side, you can see the global trade associations that we sort of call our most close peers, like APA, which represents alternative proteins in the UK, APAC SCA and APAC, Japan, et cetera, et cetera. The work that we do really falls into three main categories. We have some different challenges than other trade associations that you might be familiar with, including things like commodity boards. They work on some similar topics, or the Plant-Based Food Association, which is another very close trade association. We face different landscapes, different obstacles, different opportunities, and so we have different policy and government relations needs, which is a core area of our focus. We are very, very, very clued into the state level needs in the United States context, as well as some of the similar comparable things in other regions. Communications and public relations is another huge area for us. I can't stress this enough. It's come up a couple of times today. Alignment on messaging, whether it's about national security, whether it's about what Dave Kaplan was talking about and how we talk about and present these things. This is a core thing that AMPS, along with our other regional and global member-like trade associations around the world, are working on alignment for. And then a new area that I think is really the traditional work of a trade association when things aren't on fire everywhere is research and education. So research and education is really about some of those consumer insights things, what we would normally call developing the market for something like this. And we're at such an early stage of this industry that we have to balance all of these things with a lean, mean, but strong team. Some of us are here in the room today, so it's pretty cool. We recently came up with a new score to determine how AMPS takes initiative on specific risks. This was really designed around state level initiatives. We can go into this in more detail. Certainly members were fully apprised on this sort of scoring scheme, but this is how AMPS decides to sort of respond to some of our legislative threats. And we do some really cool things that help make it easy for people to understand what the policy environment is, with a focus on the US and North America, but also reporting outward and inward for other international things. Our fellow, Sam McGrath, who's here today, who started out as an intern from Tufts, really helps summarize a lot of these goings on with policy digests. For our members, we also have a comparable media digest to keep people apprised of how the media is talking about this industry, what the messaging and languaging systems are for these things as well. Sam has also done an incredible job synthesizing this into visual formats. So we have a series of these visual dashboards, some of which are private, some of which are public, that help really identify the geographies involved here. I was thinking about this a lot in the talk about national security at the global scale and how this influences the global scale. understanding what those assets are around the world can really help deploy in some of those. It doesn't have to all come from San Francisco, for example. And then something that I spend a lot of my time thinking about is that messaging piece. And in order to understand messaging, we have to really derive scientifically, I believe, really tried and true ways of testing messaging and rolling out messaging for certain key audiences. Regulators is a key audience. Consumers is obviously a key audience. We are thinking about that even though this industry isn't fully at launch. But also farmer engagement is a thing that comes up quite a bit. That's one of the things for 2026 that we're really going to be focusing on quite a bit is communicating how we are allies, partners, fellow agriculturalists to our traditional agricultural peers. And I think this is something that I really welcome anybody here that has an interest in this area to come talk to me as we develop some of these languaging systems, as we test them, and as we promote them and seek more collaboration with traditional agricultural systems. So I talked about that brief 2026 initiative. We're also rolling out a members-only platform. We're finalizing our lobbying plan for US state lobbying and doing some collaborative participation in some international consumer acceptance work. I do have a link. This is a great audience full of people who probably have a higher than average amount of having tried cultivated meat at any point in time. If you've tried cultivated meat, please come find me. I'd love to give you a link to support some really great research being done by a student at Maastricht. How you can get involved, you can join us. You can join as a member. You can work in our working groups. You can come give a talk if you have subject area or content area expertise. Members do get things like newsletters, other resources and updates to hopefully make running your businesses and organizations easier. But we are part of a larger allied ecosystem where we hand off things at various stages and work together to accomplish mutual goals. So the more we have at the table getting involved, the better off we are. We also do issue official statements on our website, ampsinnovation.org. Members have a real-time Slack where you can get basically any question answered or even vent and just have peers going through the same thing with you at the same time. So that's me. This is a picture of our team from our recent annual meeting. So you can see Sam McGrath in the middle there. Say hi to her if you're walking around. But we are made up of our member organizations, especially our directors, like director company Omeat, who's here today, Upside Foods, who might be here, and Blue Nalu, who are represented here. So thanks again for letting me delay your lunch, and please feel free to reach out with any questions about how you can get involved. All right, questions from the Slido. Number one, yes, plant cell cultured food. We actually recently decided to expand our scope. We will now include representation for all food products made through cell cultivation. A preview of your farmer work. How are you thinking about that? Seems so important, valuable. I don't have a, what about the farmer's market? All right, so I'll answer both of these things together. I don't have a preview to share. I don't have a preview to share with you, but what I do have is I'd be happy to talk to anybody one-on-one or to sort of come up with a side meeting to talk about some of the messaging that we talk about when someone asks you what about the farmers, but also some things that we are seeing as being potential inroads for collaboration with farmers. I think the key is there are opportunities in cell ag for farmers to partner with us and diversify their revenue streams and move along with us through modernization. And I think that is core to some of the messaging that we're moving forward with and some of the projects that we hope to see moving forward in the future as well. Do you find that recent alt protein bans have forced conservative Americans to become more skeptical of the truly anti-free market intentions of the GOP? It's fun. It's a fun topic to think about. What I actually think is that if you actually look at policy in some of our most like Republican-leaning states, like Texas, avoiding the use of the invisible hand of government to control the market has really actually, like, that's not actually been their playbook. It's a talking point, but they're very quick to actually control what businesses can and can't do. I think one of the examples is I think electric vehicles are still illegal in many states. So I think this is one of those things where there's a position for convenience for deregulation when it's convenient to the agents being represented by that. But there's also a lot of openness by the right side of the political spectrum to control things that they don't like. And we see this in social terrains all of the time. And food spans these things, right? It's social, but it's also commercial. And I think this sort of touches on all of that. So I actually just don't think that, like, you know, free market conversation, like it should matter, but only in words. All right, that's enough out of me, and I hope you have a great lunch.